Welcome!
Dinner in Hell Band, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice freaking sleigh bell work.
They have really bringing the Christmas spirit.
Thanks for being here. I know you guys are union musicians. And it's costing us.
Oh, double time for sure.
And for the people here in front of us, thanks for being here again. It's good to see you.
Studio audience, everyone in their Christmas sweaters and festive hats. Looking good out there.
The people outside watching us on the screen and projector screen that couldn't get in, thank you for the support.
We appreciate it. We see all your very clever signs out there.
That's cute. Okay, good. Thanks, band.
Welcome to this exciting Christmas edition of Dinner in Hell, where two amateur historians take a look back at the atrocious underbelly of history to talk about some fucked up shit. I'm one of your hosts, Brad the Impaler, and with me, as always, the man, the myth, the legend, the real Ron Maiden. What's cracking? You're looking good over there. You got this green sweater on, lights up.
My sweater is ugly on the inside.
That sounds an awful lot like my soul. All right, so today we're going to be talking about something a little different. It's a new topic for us. It doesn't have anything to do with Christmas, but it's a natural disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one not necessarily anybody's fault unless you believe that you anger the gods and incur this shit. Then it's your fault. If you believe that, it's your fault.
We're going to celebrate our Christmas today with 2,000 people being burnt and suffocated by ash. There's people out there complaining about, getting snow dumped on them and having to shovel and driving it. Well, imagine being buried by feet of ash and lava.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, today we're going to be going back to 79 AD, August 24th to be precise, to talk about the eruption of Mount Vesuvius.
Where's that?
That's in Campania, in Italy, near the west coast, sort of east of modern-day Naples.
So if you're looking down at the Italian peninsula, left side, big-ass mountain, 79 AD.
Above the foot part of the boot. We're going to be talking about the eruption of Mount Vesuvius that completely wiped off the face of the earth two cities, Pompeii and Herculaneum. Herculaneum was slightly west of the volcano, and Pompeii was southeast and a bit further away.
This mountain happens to be a volcano.
Yep.
Unbeknownst to them.
And from time to time, volcanoes explode.
Yeah. But at this time, in 79 AD, in this region, the civilization, they don't even have a word for volcano. They don't know what a volcano is. There's only one major active volcano on the main European continent. So how would these guys even know? Mm-hmm. The last time it erupted was like 1,800 years prior to 79 AD.
Yeah, and typically, if you see a volcano erupt, you're probably not going to be around to tell other people what happened.
And it's funny because the region of Pompeii was the land was very fertile. Like they were growing freaking massive grape farms for the wine and nuts and fruit trees. Because the 1,800 years prior, like I said before, the last eruption, the ash made the earth so fertile. So all these vineyards thrived.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk a little bit about the cities. Pompeii was founded in the 6th or 7th century BCE, south of modern-day Naples, by Oscans. And those were a native Italian people. It came under the dominion of Rome in the 4th century BCE and was basically a Roman colony. It was a fully functioning modern Roman city at the time of the eruption. It had a complex water system, had an amphitheater, a gymnasium, and a very active port. And it lasted until August 24th, 79 AD.
Pompeii was also basically a resort town for the Romans. Mm-hmm. They had their vacation homes there. It was a wonderful area.
Yeah, climate's real nice. It's safe from outsiders. It's sort of right there on the in the middle of the Italian peninsula. All right, so let's talk about a little bit about what Mount Vesuvius is. Mount Vesuvius is a stratovolcano. And these types of volcanoes are known for periodic explosive eruptions. So these are volcanoes that are very violent. It's not necessarily like the lava flows going down the side of it. These mountains basically explode every once in a while.
Yeah. Big bursts of magma.
Mm-hmm. It's erupted numerous times in history, and some of the preceding eruptions before the 79 AD eruption were even larger.
As far as numerous goes, I mean, compared to like the history of the world.
Yeah.
Not like over a 10-year span.
Yeah, but it has erupted since then, too. It's had 43 times it's erupted since 79. None of those have been remotely as destructive as the 79 AD eruption, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the most recent time it's erupted in 1944.
Yeah.
So we're probably due for another one.
In 1944, there were U.S. planes stationed during World War II, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And that last eruption, like, damaged some U.S. planes that were, like, standing by on the ground.
Yeah, so there's a good reason to hate this volcano.
Yeah. And that's
How
what we're
dare
talking
it.
about. You know how many warplanes were destroyed by that goddamn volcano?
We need to bomb it now.
As far as I'm concerned, that volcano committed treason upon our country.
Yeah, we need to nuke it. Turn it into glass.
We need to impale it at least.
Yeah, send it a lesson.
Yeah. Fucking volcano. God damn those volcanoes. And the thing was, why was it extra special? No one knew what a volcano was.
Yeah, if nobody knew what the hell was going on, it would have been really frightening.
You feel the earth moving.
Yeah, so most of the information we have are two surviving letters from Pliny the Younger to his friend Tacitus.
Mm-hmm.
And Pliny was staying with his uncle, Pliny the Elder.
Right. I was just going to ask you, why was he named Pliny the Younger? Because
There was already a Pliny.
Pliny the Elder.
Yep.
Was Pliny the Elder just plain old Pliny until Pliny the Younger came along? He's like, well, now I guess I'm Pliny the Elder because I got younger now.
Yeah, I guess so. Because it would have been like, you don't often see many people being like, yeah, I'm John Smith Sr.
Yeah, senior and junior probably just made the younger and elder just a little bit more streamlined. That's good to know.
Yeah, so
I was wondering how you're going to pronounce Pliny or Pliny. There's only one N. So
that's why I went with Pliny.
yeah, good job. I support that.
Yeah, so Pliny was a historian, and the other Pliny, Pliny the Elder, was a kind of a big timer. He was in charge of the Roman fleet, and they were at Misenum, which is west of Naples, further away from the volcano. So they were a little bit safer there than if they would have been any closer.
When you say fleet, you mean ships?
Yep, the naval fleet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so on the morning of August 24th, they get out of bed in Misenum and look to see, coming from the east, a huge, strange cloud
going up into the sky from the top of the mountain.
Mm-hmm. So the volcano is erupting, and it is spewing ash and searing pumice, volcanic stone, about 21 miles into the sky.
A column of smoke.
Yeah, which is twice the height of Mount Everest. So, I mean, what you're talking about, something that's probably nothing had ever been seen like it before.
Dinosaurs are probably like, oh, that old thing? Shit.
Yeah, dinosaurs would be used to extinction level events like that shit. Yeah, but I can't even imagine what it'd be like to wake up and see some shit like that. It would have to be terrifying.
You know what's funny is you say they wake up and see that shit.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, there was so much ash in the sky that the next dawn, there was no sunlight because the sun was still blocked out.
Yeah, it completely blocked it out.
the one day you wake up and it erupts. The next day you wake up and there's no daylight. Like,
yeah, it's still dark.
This thing friggin' surprised some people. Some people knew, they had a feeling, but there was people that couldn't leave, even if they did know, because they didn't have the means. Mm-hmm. They didn't have the money. They didn't have another place to go. They might have been servants.
Yeah, there was a lot of people
So-
trapped because almost immediately it was difficult to get out even by sea because it was just all that volcanic rock spewing into the air has got to come down somewhere, and it caused all kinds of havoc in the bay.
Yeah.
So it was difficult to get away by sea.
Even if you had the opportunity to evacuate, they just didn't have anywhere to go. So they're like, well, we're just going to ride this out and see. Let's hope for the best. Because the ash and the lava was coming at a very fast pace.
And it lasted all day long. It's not like a one-time thing. It was spewing smoke and ash and rocks into the sky all day long. As a matter of fact, if you total up the thermal energy from the eruption, it was approximately 100,000 times the energy released by both the Hiroshima and Nagasaki nuclear bombs.
Is this in an instant? Like in an instant, like mushroom cloud? Like the sound wave, like knocks shit down, trees fall down?
No, it's just spewing this shit
just
20 miles into the sky for basically 2 straight days.
Man, whole city was buried and hidden. If you were to fly over it in a plane, you would not see city. You would just see black.
Yeah, it would just be a black cloud.
You know who had a vacation home in Pompeii?
Who?
Nero.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Nero had a vacation home in Pompeii, and this one of his wives is actually from Pompeii. He likes the Pompeii.
Yeah, you know those Pompeii
Women.
girls, man. They're wild down there.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, wish they all could be Pompeii girls. Dun, 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 dun.
Now I'm imagining like the Beach Boys were hanging out there, drag racing old cars and
You know those Carthage girls with the way they walk.
hanging out with Charles Manson.
Or wish they all could be Carthaginian Gaul. My 2 favorite types of women, Carthage and Gaul women. Bam, you get both mixed together, perfect woman.
Yeah. Pliny the Younger tells us that the elder got a note from one of his friend's wives that they were trapped sort of in the morning right after it kicked off, and he tried to mount a rescue mission. So he saddled up the whole fleet, figuring everybody was going to need to get out of there, even though he didn't know what the fuck was happening. So they sailed over. Pliny the Younger stayed with his aunt and chilled out in Misenum, and eventually they had to get going from there because the ash cloud was massive. It was all over the place. But he managed to get there, and but like we were saying, the bay was all blocked up. So once he made it there was no way to get around, and he ignored warnings telling him to turn around and give it up by saying something that does come down to us, is often quoted, is fortune favors the bold. Fortune doesn't necessarily favor the bold, though, because he didn't make it out of there alive. Yeah, he was trying to help, and he made it there, but they couldn't get away right away, and they stayed the night, and during the night...
molten lava rained down?
Well, it was what got him was either the toxic gases had sort of gotten over to where he was at, and he had weak lungs, according to his nephew, so he couldn't take it. But there's also people who say that's a lot less likely than it was just a coincidence and he happened to have a stroke or a heart attack while he was over there. The woman he was specifically trying to rescue did end up making it out of there by land, but a lot of people sure didn't.
It's the largest excavation site known in the world right now. And it's currently going on now. Like, as we are here in the studio today in front of this audience on Christmas Day, broadcasting, we're away from our families. We're dedicated to the show.
Yeah, they're still excavating it.
They're still excavating while we're sitting here in this pristine studio, soundproof walls, glass. We can see the Detroit River.
Well, during the first night or early in the morning, because with no sun, there was no way to tell what the hell time it was. That's when the pyroclastic flows from the volcano started. And a pyroclastic flow is when the dense clouds of hot ash and molten or searing rock move down the side of the mountain, and these can reach speeds of up to 450 miles an hour.
It's like plane flight speed.
Yeah, it's really, really fast. And these clouds can be at temperatures of up to 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit.
So picture your hottest day, maybe 100 degrees, and you're like, man, let's go indoors with the air conditioning. That's only 100, okay?
Yeah.
We're talking 1,800 times 18.
Yeah, it would just destroy a lot of stuff really fast.
You'd probably just evaporate. Like, the moisture would be sucked out of you so fast, it'd just be like, whoosh. It'd be dust.
Yeah, and because these flows are what really did most of the devastation there. It completely buried Pompeii and Herculaneum in upwards of 20 feet of ash and volcanic rock. Completely underneath. And they were the cities were basically lost after that.
Yeah, everyone's gone. No one ever came back. They were afraid to come back. But people did come back. They had shovels and they looted the place, and they would dig tunnels to find where the royalty and all the riches were. They would dig tunnels and loot the place as best they could.
Mm-hmm. The two cities, Pompeii and Herculaneum, were rediscovered in the mid 1700s. So they were lost to history for basically 1700 years.
Like, how would they know it's Pompeii?
Well, when they were tunneling, originally they were attempting to divert a river. So when they were digging the tunnel through there, they found walls and inscriptions that said, welcome to Pompeii. Basically, they found a welcome to Pompeii sign.
Yeah. It's like Back to the Future when he goes to the subdivision. It's like, coming soon.
Yeah.
A new subdivision.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so they found them, and they've been still excavating them to this day since the mid 1700s. They're still working on it. That's how deep and complete its erasure from the face of history and the map is.
When the bodies were buried in ash, they they held their own space in the ash, but over time the body, flesh and bone, everything rotted away and deteriorated, leaving the cavities in the ash. And then these excavators would just pour plaster, and the plaster would fill up the space that was left by the body, harden, and that's how they got these. When you see pictures of people protecting their children and stuff and holding on to each other.
Yeah, which
it's
makes
not their bodies. It's plaster casing mold of it.
Mm-hmm. It's really interesting from a historical perspective because of that. You can see, and Pompeii is one of the biggest tourist destinations in Italy, in modern day Italy, because you can go and see the exact positions people were in when this happened. And also because of the ash, a lot of the structures are very, very well preserved, so you can get a really, really good idea of what a turn of that millennium Roman city looked like.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff to learn.
You wouldn't be listening to this program if you didn't like to learn.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see, and maybe sort of facilitates building a connection to the people of the past then, because it makes it seem so real when you see them behaving in the exact same way you would if all of a sudden you were in that predicament. You can see them hiding and shit, trying to get cover, trying to protect their children, huddling over them, huddled together.
There was no one there that was able to flash a picture of the scene, so this is almost it's not a photo, but it's almost like a 3D freaking photo of exactly that moment that the room was flooded with lava.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, and
not just lava, but ash and dust,
and lava.
pumice.
Yeah, so the death toll from the eruption is from the bodies they've recovered, or the lack of bodies, the voids they've recovered, is estimated at about 2,000 now. But since the excavation's ongoing, and the excavation's been largely confined to the city limits and not along the coastline, there are estimates that the number of victims left to discover will also number in the thousands.
Yeah.
So a lot of people got out. The population of Pompeii was estimated somewhere around 11,000.
Yeah.
So a lot of people got out. If only 2,000 of them died, it means 9,000 got out. But there's still so much left to excavate that number could rise pretty dramatically.
Who's to say Pompeii didn't have like tunnels below it? You know, like a network of tunnels below the city. You know, it's possible. They had plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say the excavation, like you said, is still ongoing. They uncover tunnels and escape tunnels that are full. But then again, how would the ash get to a escape tunnel?
Well, it probably would have just buried the exits.
Yeah.
And maybe cooked them.
Yeah. Whatever air got in would have been an awful air source.
Yeah, it would have been toxic, and it would have been blazing hot.
So there you go. You might find you wouldn't find preserved bodies, because the preserved bodies were buried in pumice.
Yeah, and all the people because the excavations haven't been done along the coast, really. And I bet there was a ton of people that were just trying to get to the water, trying anything desperately.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can look at sort of some modern equivalencies to see the way people behave, because it would have been total chaos. If you look at modern day natural disasters that we have video of, like the tsunamis in Japan or earthquakes, it's total chaos. People are all over the place. The panic becomes way out of control, like, immediately. Or if you look at New York City after the September 11th attacks. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say when the tides rose and New York City was flooded with the Atlantic Ocean, and then all of a sudden the temperature dropped and then the water froze, so like New York City was under like 20 feet of ice.
Yeah, all those people had to burn books in the library to stay alive.
God darn it, all those books. I thought you were talking about that New York City memory.
Yeah, thank God for Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
We would all been screwed without him and Dennis Quaid.
I hope Jake takes Dennis to like a baseball game or something, at least like once a year.
Real nice steak dinner.
Thanks for coming to get me, Pops. I love you, Dad.
I love you too.
Thanks. Have you ever seen that stupid volcano movie where Tommy Lee Jones had I think it's like Los Angeles or something? Or is it like Hawaii maybe? Like they're near a volcano and it's like, I'm telling you it's gonna blow. There's like a seismograph girl co-star.
Yeah, that movie was called Volcano.
And the only way they could save the town is like, you gotta take these construction barriers from the highway and like the concrete barriers and like they like directed me like a lava river into the ocean or some quarry or something.
Yeah, man, it's too bad Tommy Lee Jones and, if I'm not mistaken, Anne Heche weren't from ancient Rome. They would have been able to knock that out.
Anne Heche is like, not lesbian anymore.
Sorry, Vesuvius. You're done. We also have one of the Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan movies, Joe versus the Volcano. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. I remember not being thrilled about it. I think I was at the Wyandotte Theater in Michigan. Old $1.50 show or whatever. I remember seeing it there and just sitting there like, are we going to be making out during this movie or what?
Yeah, and you may or may not be shocked to find that we're probably not the two biggest romantic comedy fans of the world. There's some good ones, but...
When do you think it would be the best time to listen to our show? I prefer podcast listening when I'm in the kitchen, like cooking and like busting out dishes or whatever.
Yeah.
That's when I put the Bluetooth on.
I tend to put it on over family dinners when, like my grandma comes over.
Oh, the Dinner in Hell show?
Yeah. Just make them listen to it while they're trying to eat.
I make my son write a report on it.
Every week, 10 pages.
I'm like, what did you learn? Cursive.
Do they still teach kids to write cursive?
I think so.
What a waste of time.
I know. Just learn how to type. Fuck it. We're texting. You can't type cursive in a text. What's the point?
I got my hands on a computer when I was like 10 years old, and I was done writing with my hands like a Neanderthal.
If you have any favorite volcanoes,
or any other horrifying natural disasters you'd like to hear us crack jokes about, you can tweet those to us at Dinner in Hell Pod. You can email us at dinnerinhellpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on SoundCloud.
We're
Get at
everywhere.
us all over the place. We're always there, and we're always watching you.
you know what we need you to do for us is to pass it on to some friends that you might. Maybe you have a friend that likes horror movies, like Fangoria, a friend that's weird.
Yeah, they might dig this.
Yeah, I mean, the torture and execution episodes would be right up their alley.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's say you just have someone that's likes history and
Loves to learn.
does a lot of walking. Maybe they like to listen to the show. Pass it on to them.
Yeah, let them know. And you let us know any future topics you'd like us to cover. Oh, studio audience has been great tonight. Coming out on a holiday.
Thank you, all of you.
You're beautiful. We love you. And thank you for listening. Thanks for such a great show, Ron. You killed it today.
Yeah, thank you, audience. Thank you for being here, band. Thanks for showing up and playing like you really want to be here. You have a job to do, and you did it well.
Mm-hmm. I love that kind of commitment.
Thank you, Brad.
Thanks, Ron.